I'm willing to admit and acknowledge that what I'm about to complain about is in fact a great deal of first world problems, but let's be honest, there's no better problem than a first world problem. So, getting into this, right? In-game is enjoyable. I like in-game a lot, honestly. I think it could see major improvements, and maybe it will, probably won't, because, they'll probably never do this again, sadly. But it's really, really enjoyable in my opinion. And as I've finished both the zombies and the multiplayer camo grind, I've shifted over to the in-game grind. And I gotta say, while it isn't like the worst thing on the planet, I have some issues with it. Starting off with the deployment, I don't like that you don't get to choose where you want to go. And obviously, the higher skill rating or combat rating you are, the places you get dropped are the higher tier zones, right? But I would like to be able to choose to drop where I want to drop instead of being dropped at the bottom of the map and then having to spend 5 minutes going to the top of the map to farm something, right? Again, first world problems, woe is me and all that. But it's just, why can't we pick where we want to go? Especially when you're max level, why aren't we allowed to just pick wherever we want to go? I don't feel like that makes much sense. The camo tracking is also busted in the campaign. All the other modes, the camo tracking works fine, but in this one, it doesn't really show you the special camos unless you track them. No big deal. You just got to remember to do that. But it's something that's just weird because none of the other game modes have that issue, but this one does. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just, I think my biggest thing is the lack of transportation and just the lack of being able to choose where you drop. And I know that this is going to be the Battle Royale map with Blackout and all that. But again, for in-game, why can't we just choose where we want to land? I need to farm headshots. I want to land over there. I need to farm specials. I want to land up there. I just don't really understand why we can't choose. Make much sense to me. As for the camo grind itself, it's not bad at all. It's really, really easy. It's really quick. It's just, again, it's just traversing the map. There's like next to no vehicles around either. Where's the vehicles? We need more vehicles on the map to be able to drive around quickly. If we're not going to be able to choose where we'd like to land, then at least we could have a vehicle on just about every other corner, right? But who knows? Who knows what's going on behind the scenes and all that? Maybe it's just easier to not do that so it's not crammed when this becomes the Battle Royale map. Still, it's just still kind of frustrating, especially with the boss fights that have been added, the Z-Rex and the Origins robot, right? Now, I like those boss fights, and we'll get a little bit more into those in a second here, but oftentimes they're kind of at farther points or edges of the map. Like the Origins robot, for example, can spawn kind of back right of the Coliseum. And if you're where, like I am right now, farming headshots, that's the complete opposite side of the map. And you have to just kind of grapple, leap, and fly your way there, maybe find a vehicle, and then, make your way over there. But maybe just a better traversal system would be nice to have in a later update or a future iteration of EndGame if we're ever going to see this game, which we probably won't, which is really unfortunate. Another aspect that is a little weird to me is the losing progress aspect. And I only say that that's weird because it feels like they wanted this to be kind of like DMZ, like an extraction shooter, but not an extraction shooter at the same time, which begs the question, why lose your stuff when you die? Thank God they have the connection protection loss now. I lost my original character because of that, because of the Steam update or whatever, and I lost connection, and then that really put a halt in things I was doing, because I did not want to regrind again at that very moment, and it's like, it wasn't even my fault. I got DC'd because of Steam. And yeah, I probably shouldn't honestly play the game on Steam between those issues and the fact that I get like 30 less frames or whatever than I should be getting in the game. maybe I'll switch over to BattleNet for Black Ops 8 or Advanced Warfare 2, but I would rather never touch another Modern Warfare or Infinity Ward game again, quite frankly. So, with that said, maybe I'll switch to BattleNet. Probably not likely though. I'll just keep dealing with the issues on Steam. Now, moving back to the boss fights, as mentioned, there's 3 right now, right? There's 3. There's the original one, and then there's the Origins robot, and the Z-Rex. Now, Dr. Falker, or whatever his name is, right? He's not really an issue. He's not really an issue at all. You can shred him very quickly, especially if you have Light Mend on one of your weapons. Like my LMG currently has Light Mend, and pairing that up with the upgrades that you get along the way that are just like you do more point blank damage and things like that, you just stand directly on top of him, and since his enemy type is weak to Light Mend because he's one of the disciples enemy types, it just completely shreds through him in like 2 nanoseconds. It's really quick to kill him. The Z-Rex isn't difficult at all. Spawning him in is a little weird and tedious. I feel like the portals sometimes don't appear properly, and I feel like sometimes you can have an infinite amount of the thing that you need dunk, and then you can just blow through portals. I don't really know. It's weird, but once you spawn in the Z-Rex, not really an issue whatsoever. You can ride on his back, again, like you could in Black Ops 6, but there's a little bit of a weird interaction this time, specifically with the ballistic knives. If you get onto his back, onto the Z-Rex's back, and you aim directly down as far as you can while on his back, looking directly down at him with the ballistic knives, you can just infinitely fire them into his back. You can just infinitely shoot them directly down into his back without reloading. Why is that a thing? Don't know, but that's just a thing that you can do. Does it do like insane damage? Sort of, kind of, yeah. It can chunk a little bit. Not like anything ridiculous, but it's a noticeable little buffer, you know? As for the Origins robot, they're not asking for much when it comes to the mechanics, and yet they're asking too much for the average COD player. Truth be told, you know, I come from playing Destiny for over a decade and things of that nature. I have day 1 raids done, day 1 dungeons, low mans, speed, like the whole shebang, right? And so to me, I understand puzzles, and I love puzzles in the first place, right? I love solving issues, breaking things down, figuring out how they work, right? I love doing that stuff in the first place. But anyways, I have a decade's worth of, you know, raid mechanics and understandings and things of that nature under my belt, right? So it can be a little annoying doing that fight because it's such a simple fight. All you do is you stand on a plate. That plate will send out, you know, 3 lines of red, and you follow it and you shoot those 3 lights that it lights up. And you do that like 3 times, the shield drops, you damage the core. You only gotta do that twice, and then you're done with the fight. It's a really simple fight. But my God, people can't figure it out. Even when you tell them how to do it, they still can't figure it out. But it's a pretty enjoyable fight. My advice, though, when it comes to making sure that you don't get stepped on by the Origins robot is to grapple into the teleporter when he's taken his next step. That'd be my advice. Definitely not from any, you know, perspective of having been stomped by missing it by hair or anything. That definitely didn't happen to me at all. But you know, EndGame, it's enjoyable. I do enjoy this, and I will be probably done with this grind relatively quickly. It's a very quick camo grind. It's just the most tedious and the most time-consuming aspect of it is not loading in where I want to load in, and then having to make my way over somewhere else, and then, you know, I get all my headshots there, then I make my way back over to this side of the map to farm specials, you know, over by the Coliseum. And another annoying aspect is the jailbreaking system, and while it itself isn't the annoying part, it's the fact that every time that I'm switching weapons to grind a new weapon, I'm losing, you know, my rarity. and some camos need you to be at a certain rarity, and you know, killing things is just easier at higher rarities and things of that nature. So you have to jailbreak every single time you bring in a new weapon. And to be fair, when you're going for headshots, it's not that bad because there's usually the outpost thingamabob fortress right back there where you can just turn it purple, and you know, it's not necessarily gold, but purple's still not bad. You'll pretty much be working your way through most things that you need to kill through, and so it's not like that bad, right? But it is just a little bit of an annoying thing that puts a slight impedance. I don't even think that's actually a word really, but it slightly impedes your journey, your grind, right? It's just it's the tiny little annoying things. And it'll be great when I'm just done with this grind, right? And I don't have to really do much with endgame other than, oh, they added a new boss. Let me go melt that real quick and then go on about my business in multiplayer or zombies. But endgame is enjoyable. I think that just needs slight tweaking. Slight tweaking. Main thing, just something different for the traversal. I don't know if I can say a fast travel system, but I feel like there should be something more rewarding for reaching max level. And I don't just mean rewarding as in like rewards, but more so freedom of choice when it comes to where you deploy. Like your max level, you should have full control of where you want to drop. So, yeah, makes the camo grind a little bit nicer. But again, this camo grind, it's not that bad. I'll be done with it relatively quickly. I'm blowing through the ARs. I have a bunch of, random other weapons completely done through either the campaign or just having used them at one point or another in game. So it's something that will go by really quickly, and then eventually I'll probably 100% in game as well. I'll probably 100% multiplayer relatively quickly here soon. I just have to finish the in-game grind. Now, when it comes to 100%ing zombies, which I did last year, but this year it requires curse mode, so I'll just have to deal with it and tough it out. The only problem is that I'm just going to have to go unlock the relics, which is just going to be time-consuming. So that will probably be one of the later grinds, honestly, is that whole segment of Cursed. And then I have to do the Warzone grind, which I'm waiting for Plunder to come back to do those camos, because Plunder is the best way to do those camos. I did make pretty good progress in Warzone with the casuals resurgence, but it still is way, way faster to just grind and Plunder, because you just have your loadout immediately and, people are constantly respawning. So I'm mostly just waiting for Plunder because that is infinitely faster. And I don't like Battle Royale in the first place. Like, I just don't like Battle Royales at all. So I'd rather play Plunder, which is just basically ground war to an extent, I suppose. So yeah, I should honestly get the Warzone camo done relatively quickly as well once the once Plunder gets added. I got like halfway done with the M15 in a single match, and I won a casual game. Ooh, such a brag. But I got that about halfway done, I think, and as much as I could easily keep doing that, I think that I'm just gonna wait for Plunder, where it's a consistent, guaranteed having the gun, and people are constantly respawning. So I think that that's kind of where I'm at for that grind right now. And then, we'll get the mastery camo for having all the mastery camos, which is, it's not like the greatest camo, but I think it's the third best. Infestation has grown on me a lot, but Singularity has also grown on me a lot. Genesis, it's not bad. I don't think it's going to move up in my rankings, though. And I'm not the biggest fan of the Warzone one, but I think it might be slightly better than Genesis. I don't know. Maybe when I get all of them, I'll do a little recap video going over my thoughts on all the camos. That might be, again, honestly, just waiting for Plunder. So that could be in a few weeks that I make a video like that. It might be in a while, because Plunder was supposed to be added with Season 1, but here we are, Plunderless. Yarg, no no plundering. You know. Other than that, though, I'd love to hear what you think about EndGame. I think it's relatively good. I think it's relatively enjoyable. And I think it just needs a minor amount of tweaking and adjustments. And I look forward to all the new boss fights that we get later on. And yeah, thank you for watching. Love y'all. Stay hydrated. Like, subscribe, comment, and all that. You know, we're already chugging along in 1,000 subs. I really do appreciate that, man. It is spectacular, to say the least. I have a few video ideas coming up. Again, 1,000 subs special will I'll probably just wait till the new year to do that. Yeah, okay. I always do that thing, man, where I'm trying to end the video and then I just kind of go down another rabbit hole. So, thank you for watching. Stay hydrated. Love y'all. Bye. Mwah. I got the shivers.